I get asked this question all the time. How are you playing Summoner's War on the PC? And the reality of the situation is, for me personally, I am not playing Summoner's War on the PC. I'm playing on my phone, and I'm controlling my phone with the PC. However, there is some new news that will allow people to play Summoner's War natively on the PC. I'm not sure how Com2us feels about this, because this was not done by Com2us, but we'll touch on that in a second. There's also emulators as well. There's been emulators for years. Com2us doesn't want people to use emulators either, but again, we'll touch on that in a second. Let's get it started. So first things first, this is how I play personally, this is how I play Summoner's War on the PC. Again, I'm playing on my phone, and I'm controlling the phone with a power mirror. Since I have an Android phone, you can do this. You just plug the phone into the computer. It recognizes it, have a power mirror going on the PC and on the phone, and then you can control your phone with your PC. You can also use emulators, but emulators opens up a whole nother world of, like, there's some shady stuff going on with emulators and potentially malware and things like that, and it doesn't run it smooth, and, well, that's a topic for a whole nother video. But yeah, this is currently what I'm doing. I'm just using a power mirror, and I'm actually playing on the phone and just controlling the phone with the computer. So this is the actual news for you guys that are running, at least on Windows, right? At least on Windows. Windows 11 is going to be integrated with the Amazon App Store. So you can actually play anything from the Amazon App Store on Windows. Windows 11 is not out yet, but when Windows 11 is actually out, you're going to be able to play anything from the Amazon App Store on Windows, all phone apps basically. And guess what's on the Amazon App Store is, Summoner's War and a lot of other things, but it's actually more than just the things on the Amazon App Store. It's just that this is going to be integrated naturally with Windows 11, and you're going to naturally just be able to play things that you would play on your phone on Windows 11. I don't know if I'm very excited about upgrading to Windows 11 because I don't really like Microsoft, but well, it's a topic for another day. So I think a lot of you might be asking why Amazon App Store and not Google. Microsoft apparently, I didn't even know this until today. I was doing research into this. Microsoft doesn't like Google. They don't get along. So they're like, you know what? We like Amazon a lot better. Amazon's not trying to step on our toes like Google is. Apparently, well, you know, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, Bing versus Google. And also the laptops, the Chromebooks. Google's always trying to step on Microsoft's toes. Microsoft's trying to step on Google's toes. So they don't really work too well together. They don't like each other. And the more I really think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, this is obvious. I don't know how I never noticed this before. But yeah, that's why they're going with the Amazon App Store. But actually, you don't even need just the Amazon App Store to be able to, I know I keep talking about Amazon App Store, but in this video, this has nothing to do, I'm like, this is not incentivized by me, this is just the news that it just so happens that Microsoft and the Amazon App Store are teaming up together to be able to offer anything from the Amazon App Store. That just means that the Amazon App Store is going to get a much more games, actually. So it's kind of interesting. So currently, you can still run emulators on a Windows PC and play Summoner's War using an emulator. Again, it's kind of shady because some of the emulators are malware, and a lot of them will install new games without your permission, even new games on your devices. And Com2us doesn't even want people to use emulators to begin with, which is kind of like a big gray area, because like, well, isn't the thing with like Windows 11 being able to use natively run apps on Windows 11, isn't that basically phone emulation? But they're not really emulating a phone. They're not really emulating a phone. They're just based on what the Amazon App Store actually is. What they're looking like they're doing is they're not actually trying to emulate a phone. They're just allowing these APK files and things to be played on Windows 11 PCs. So it looks like emulators are not gonna have a good time, but they beg to differ. Emulators have actually chimed in. Emulating dev companies have chimed in and said, like, no, we're still the better option. Don't go with the natively Amazon App Store. Still, you got to use us. You got to use our emulation software because we're going to be better. Microsoft doesn't know what they're doing. I mean, I kind of agree with them that half the time Microsoft doesn't know what they're doing. But Microsoft doesn't know what they're doing. They can't do it as good as we can. I'm like, I'm pretty sure Microsoft, one of the biggest companies in the world, can figure out how to run video games on Windows 11. that's kind of their job. They're this massive, gigantic company. I'm pretty sure they've got it handled a little bit better than a small emulation company. That's just my 2 cents. Maybe it's going to run terribly, and maybe Microsoft doesn't know what they're doing. But yeah, Emulator Developers. Basically, and this is the weird thing, because I was like, oh, this is definitely going to be considered an emulator, right? But the emulator devs are actually saying that that's not considered an emulator. And again, they still think that their software, their emulation software, is superior to what's going to come into Windows 11. But the real question is, does Com2us still consider this an emulator? And against terms of service, again, I haven't really gotten any answer from, well, did I already mention this in the video? But I haven't really gotten any answer from Com2us whether or not they consider this an emulator. I will keep you guys posted if I actually do get a response, and if it's an actual response. Whoever knows what I'm going to actually get from Com2us, probably nothing. But yeah, I'm still, and here's the thing, like, emulators, Com2us has not been banning. They've been like threatening that they're going to ban people using emulators, but they don't actually ban people using emulators. They just, if people need tech support, well, half the time they don't help people anyway, but they definitely won't help people if they're using emulators, right? So that's kind of the thing with emulators, and I don't like emulators just in general. And if Com2us doesn't want me to use emulators, as much as we butt heads and things like that, if they don't want me to use an emulator for Summoner's War, I'm just not going to use an emulator for Summoner's War. I'm just going to be respectful in their wishes as far as that. I'll be a jerk about everything else, but for that I'll be respectful, right? So yeah, it's curious how they're going to respond to this going forward. If they're just gonna be like, oh, yep, it's fine, or if they're gonna like try to stop this and be like, we're taking our app off the Amazon App Store. You see how fast I stop spending money on Summoner's War if they take the app off the Amazon App Store, right? Because a lot of us are just so used to our discounts, we're like, I don't want to pay full price anymore with this. Anyway. In addition, you can also install, this is a good note to mention, you can also install APK files in general, not just from Amazon App Store. So you're going to be able to get APK files from different sources. Even if they're not on the Amazon App Store, you can still get other games. Just be careful. And I do believe that these updates are going to make so many more devs put their games on the Amazon App Store, just in general, because they want a larger, like before it was like, well, we'll just keep them on Google Play, whatever. Now at this point, I feel like there's going to be a lot more games on the Amazon App Store, and it's definitely going to flourish more. It's been doing okay. It hasn't really like died down or anything, just because so many people are just using it for the discounts for whatever actually is on it. But it does have a small number of games compared to the Google Play, right? Also, I want to mention, just be careful to only download from reputable sources, because there's going to be a lot. You guys love to download. You're like, oh, I just torrented this, and I just got this thing from this place that I've never heard this person before, but they gave me free things, and I installed them on my computer. I'm like, guys, please don't do that. please be very, very careful where you actually get these things from. And then just last but not least, the Windows 11 release date should be sometime at the end of the year, because I know people are going to be curious when they can actually expect this if they want to upgrade to Windows 11. But I just figured I would give you guys some information regarding that. Again, it's who knows if Com2us is going to consider this emulation. I feel like this is still, I would consider this emulation if I was them, but according to the emulation devs that actually developed emulators, they're like, no, this is not considered an emulator, what Windows 11 is doing. So, because they're not technically emulating a phone, they're just running APK files and stuff like that on Windows 11. So anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys got something out of it. Are you excited? Are you not excited? Do you not care? Are you not even... the thing is, I don't really want to upgrade to Windows 11. I don't like Windows 10. I'm like, Windows 11 probably going to be worse. But I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe if it runs things better, if it's... I don't know, man. I guess I have to, right? I guess if this is a thing, then that would be better for my job. If everything is faster and runs smoother and it's more native and it's more, goes better together. But anyway, that's it for this one. Just wanted to give you guys some information. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you as always in the next one.